Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. All of these are forms of social media, ways for us to interact globally, one to another. Social media has become an integral part of our daily routine. Social media has a lot of benefits, but in the same time, has a major downside that is worth mentioning. Hello, my name is Osama Ajami, and today I'll be speaking about social media and its adverse effects. Firstly, social media tends to consume the person, and it has been recently shown in studies that it has been linked to mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and many others. This happens due to the cultural comparison in people. People tend to spend hours daily, on end, continuous, messaging and watching reels, causing them to feel less of themselves, inadequate or inferior. When this happens, you see someone riding an amazing sports car or looking at people driving their yachts. When this happens, this makes you think, well, how great would life be if I had all of this and more? But this cannot be further from the truth, as people who tend to post tend to do it because they feel they tend to post due to their insecurities and their worries. Secondly, another major effect is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is something that a lot of people face, and it's getting more popular when people are making gangs or groups online to bully a specific person once at a time. Many effects of cyberbullying could be anger, isolation, depression, illness, and humiliation. When this happens, a person tends to gain more mental health issues than when you spend hours online. It makes the person feel inadequate and inferior, as said before. It even causes sometimes to suicide, which is something none of us want to watch or something to happen to us. When this happens, it isn't just the bully that gets in trouble, it's also the bullier. The bullier tends to feel guilt, shame, and sometimes they even tend to confess on what they've done and face legal consequences. So think about it. It's not just the one who's getting bullied who's getting in trouble, but it's also the bullier or the bulliers. So would you do this? I don't prefer it, personally. Another problem is addiction. Addiction is something that many of us face, and many of us don't want to face. It decreases the amount of productivity in a person. It makes people spend hours on end, repeating the same process, doing something they think is fun. But this only happens due to a dopamine increase when you receive a like or notification. What has happened right now? What's going to happen? What do you think will happen? When people get addicted, they tend to believe whatever is being shared online, which leads to my next point, misinformation. Misinformation and fake news is one of the biggest issues that you could face. As when a post gets a lot of likes and comments, people tend to believe it as soon as possible. Oh, this has happened? Is it true? They never check if it's true or not. They tend to believe it as soon as possible. And when a news story gets published on a news channel, people tend to believe it even more. These news channels get tricked by these comments and by these likes that are found online. They tend to not fact check it, but post it as soon as possible to be the first ones to share it for the most people so they can receive the most credit. After that, you could think about social media as a bad side, but social media has a good side. The good side of social media is in apps like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a famous example of some people call of a social media app, which isn't really called a social media app. A reason for that is it's mostly used by corporations and businesses. But why is this a good thing? Why is this the good side of social media? Because it may not sound like social media, but it has helped lots of people get jobs and save poverty. Lots of people find new jobs and connect their businesses, grow their corporations, and maybe help thousands of people at the same time. Other examples of help in social media is that it can be well in education. It can cause entertainment and make people feel happy, enjoy their day. But that's only if it's used in correct portions. Maybe if you put time limits on your screen limit. If you manage your communication to a certain amount, and many others. So this leads us to the question, is social media good or social media bad? Well, that actually depends on the user. If the user uses it in the correct ways, in following correct steps and patterns, then it's a good form. But if you just spend it to search about things that are inappropriate or aren't wise to search about, or just spend hours on end thinking and looking at other people's lives, then how would you improve your own life? So, before I end my presentation, I would like to ask, how will you use social media? Thank you.